This is Lake Valley, and up until a few weeks ago, it had been abandoned for 2,706 days. In the previous episodes, we spent time respecting our topography and getting goods and raw materials into the city by improving our rail and roadway networks. This made portions of our city look better, and the city started growing once again. But let's be honest, it doesn't look great, and a big reason for that is its wonky roadway network. But it doesn't just look bad, it functions poorly as well. Traffic is starting to back up, and we can't even throw buses at the problem because our roadway design will make buses part of the problem rather than part of the solution. And because this city was built before After Dark was released, there is no bike network to speak of. In today's episode, I want to fix this. We're going to give the whole roadway network a glow up, removing stuff like this, and this, and this, and of course, this. We're also going to add a new on-street bike network, linking up all portions of the community to one another. And we're likely to make a few targeted zoning improvements along the way, since land use and transportation are inextricably linked. And we're going to take a sledgehammer to this place, since you said you were okay with it. Especially this place. This has got to go. And if you like taking a sledgehammer to old cities to fix them up, hit the like button. And if you just start over when the going gets tough, hit the like button for that too, and let me know what you do in the comments. Or just leave an emoji, any emoji that your heart desires, for the sake of engagement. Without any further ado, let's jump right in. The very first place I want to start is where we ended in our previous episode. Right here at this industrial district, looking at this roundabout mess. And we're still seeing crazy backups. There's a few reasons for this. The very first thing is that we are causing all of the traffic that wants to go to this area from the interstate to go through our industrial area. And then we have some hierarchy issues through here, and a whole bunch of uses that generate a ton of trips spread throughout the district. We're going to add a new interchange right here, and I think it's going to really lessen our traffic through here. Honestly, we're not going to fix our traffic today. We're at 77%. It's not going to get better. It might actually get worse, and our population is at 97,000. I shudder to think of where we're going to end up today. So here's where we start. We get rid of a portion of the freeway, and I'm just going to go with a vanilla interchange. Not worry too much about this. And then we'll link these up, and then we can get this moving right away again. And then this is our first opportunity, because if we look through this area, we can see that there's not really a real definitive hierarchy. I settled on all these, 4-lane collector type roads. I think we're going to back away from that. It's going to be really helpful to show visual differences between things. So I'm going to go with the sledgehammer and start throwing in some bigger roads. And this will be the first one. So I'm going to just send this up here, and I already see something that I think is really interesting. We've got this arterial right here that it turns into this collector. We're going to upgrade this, and then we're going to loop this through here. And we're going to talk about the proper treatment for an arterial in just a moment, but I want to get this linked up to this highway. So I'm severing this here. We're going to lose a few buildings, not the end of the world, and then we will follow our train track as best we can. And then I just set the lanes here so that the vehicles go straight down here. And now we can slope things out using set slope mode and network multi-tool. It's always so satisfying to do that. So this is a great connection. I think it's going to take a lot of the pressure, a lot of the passenger pressure that we've seen here, and alleviate that. In fact, let's see who's using this. It's a lot of passenger traffic, and that's what I was hoping for. There's some that's coming back through here. I don't really understand that movement, but I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of traffic using this. So with an arterial, you want to prioritize mobility. I've said this a number of times. What that means in function is that you have less connections through to this road. So we're going to eliminate some of these. You see here, it's like every 10 units we have an intersection. It's way too much. So I'm going to get rid of half of these. And that is prioritizing. Right here, we're prioritizing mobility. Same thing here, same thing here. And I almost think, I still don't love what's happening here. We're still making this movement straight through here. Let's call a mulligan in what we did last time, and we'll reserve this space for a future park. So we are going to eliminate stuff like this today. I was going to leave it behind, but it doesn't make sense to have a gigantic cul-de-sac up the side of a mountain where the slopes weren't appropriate anyway. So we're going to get rid of a lot of our hillside development. And once this is clear, I think you're going to see why. So check this out. I don't even know how we would get up there now. So if we want to do something like this, totally fine. We just need to be a little bit more judicious about where we are going up the side of the mountain. I think I went right here, and look at those contours. That's not acceptable at all. And then I went up here as well. There's this craziness right there. So that's why we've eliminated that. We're going to get rid of most of that stuff today. So now this movement through here is not quite as prioritized, and I think that's a good thing. And reasonably, I think we could clean up a lot of the grid right here and make it make a bit more sense. So I'm going to do a bit of that. So if the goal was to make this a big office district, okay, I can get behind that. That's all right. The one thing I do want to do though is I want to get away from all of this crazy industrial that we have right here. So we are going to take this area and make a new district and make this an IT cluster. We learned in Sustainable City that IT cluster generates goods and teleports it to warehouses. So we don't have any IT cluster buildings through here. So I want to add that. I'm going to also add the height restriction for the rest of the buildings that are in this district. So high rise ban, and then we'll go ahead in our districts and add in the IT cluster. All right, there's one more thing I do want to do over here with the transportation network, and it's really trying to resolve some of the traffic issues over here. I created a mess right here, and I'm going to try to fix some of it. So I think that we have this arterial coming through here, a collector. I'm not even sure how to classify what I've done here, but it's bad. And the primary reason it's bad is we're forcing people to turn to get to these bridges. So I'm going to use the network multi-tools create connection mode to link these up. We'll bridge that, and then we can spread this out to make this a gentle angle, which I want to do considering it is a bridge for freight. Hit enter. That is looking good. Because this is the primary movement through here, I'm going to turn this road, and we're going to use the exact same tool. So the blue, that larger blue color that you see there, when I select this, this changes the radii of the curve. The white center circle allows me to change where the curve occurs. And when they turn green like that, that means it's kind of a perfect 90-degree angle through there, and you get that nice gentle curve. So it's not just this. I also think that this back road, we're seeing kind of crazy amounts of traffic back here, and it makes sense. It links up a couple of major districts to one another. So it's already functioning as that regional arterial connection. So there we go. That should help. And then I think we need to also make a connection back here. So I'm going to turn on the contours, and we just want to follow the hillside. And then I want this to not be a bridge segment. So I am going to add a node here, and then I'll select this, make this ground level. Here we go. So this is just a little reliever. And I think that having those options is really important. The final thing I want to do over here is move this. So this is our post sorting facility. And I think I made a mistake putting it over there. There's another mistake, and that's right here. This is reversed. And then I want to put a median in between the post sorting facility to clean up the traffic flow through here. But what we're doing is allowing the rail facility. Ooh, actually, there's a problem. So when I added the median, I made it impossible to actually reach this place. So this should fix it. Hopefully we don't see these trucks looping back here. I don't think that we're going to, but I'll double check. Yeah, it should just be at this point, the post office building. So you could come through here, make a turn and get back there if you wanted to. It also allows us access to a lot of the region to actually be able to deliver mail. So that's why I like this a lot more. Let's go to the area that I'm sure you're all very interested in seeing fixed, and that's over here. And I think that where we start is with a sledgehammer. Check this out. The lanes are just absolutely wild. So I'm going to upgrade all of these, and I'm thinking I actually might need to reconstruct a portion of this. So if we take a look at our nodes, I'm not going to be able to level this very nicely because our nodes don't line up. So to resolve this, I'm going to just get rid of this side of the highway, and then I'm going to use the create parallel mode to create a parallel road to this, and then the heights will be completely perfect. You might wonder where we go from here, and what I think we're gonna do, I don't wanna run a highway. This is way too narrow to have a highway running along here. So what we're gonna do instead is have a major arterial connection. And I kind of hinted at this in the last one because we have this road right here that kind of just stops. So we're gonna go right here with a 6-lane arterial. So right here, we're gonna change our direction of our road, and then we'll run that right along here. Now check this bit of nonsense out. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, mixed use, commercial, office, and then we have high density residential tapering into regular residential. But we were right by the airport. I mean, this isn't like a really super desirable location. I don't know what I was thinking. Perhaps I had ice cream on the mind, but it was a thing. I did it. I will own it, even though it's crazy. So now we can just connect right up here. We got that turnaround. We can get rid of that with TMPE. We'll go into our lane connector, select this, Control S, stay in your lane. Everything is now perfect. All right, here's a problem. I talked earlier about our need to not have this much access on an arterial. Reasonably, we shouldn't. We should probably cut this in half. I'm gonna let this one go and see how it works. So again, network multi-tool. I'm gonna select this road just so that I know I have it selected. And then we'll go into our create connection mode again. Select this, which is kind of the end of where we want to go to where we want to go. And you see it's looping the wrong way. That's because it's trying to join up in the back with this node. Select the node that you actually want it to connect to, and then you're good. So this looks terrible. In Move It, I want to go into our marquee selection tool, and we're going to use picker. So we select this, and now we've got our basic road selected. So the nice thing about this is now I can just highlight this and delete that. Perfect. So that is absolutely why we did this. So that is going to be kind of our superpower throughout this whole thing. So now we're going to work to make a direct connection to downtown, but I want to point out this one intersection right here first. If you're going to downtown and you're coming from this area, you must go through this intersection right here. I don't know why I did that. For whatever reason, I got really stuck on these looping things. They look bad. And here's where we can respect the topography. So we turn on our terrain view and we can see that things are pretty good here. We can take this further down. That's about as far as we can go. And then here, I'm going to pull this back. That's pretty good. And now we sledgehammer this whole area up. Nice. Yeah, that's great. I really, really like this. We're gonna have a parallel facility back here. We're gonna cross that bridge a little bit later on down the line. We might use the parallel road tool instead. I want to get this road, and you might wonder, what am I doing with this? This road is gonna go all the way to here. It has to. So that is our goal. We're gonna get from all the way over here to downtown. And then we're going to do the exact same thing to get around to get to this road. So our population's plummeting. You might be wondering what land use we're going through. It's a little of everything. So I think that we're going to need to reimagine this whole thing. And reasonably, I don't know that you'd see much beyond maybe an office here or there, a corner store, and a whole bunch of residential. And I'm almost thinking that we just need to have a transition zone between our high density and then transition into some mid-rise and then lower density till we get back here. This is going to be our most extreme one. And truthfully, that's probably where we need to be on this end. Unless we pull this out further, I don't know that that's considerably better. So we will add this, and I'm going to get rid of most of the local roads through here. And then we've got this little development down here. That road is really steep. I think we'll keep it, but it's going to look different. No, we're not going to keep it. We can't. That's too crazy, too wonky. It's fine. If we were going to do anything here, it should probably be a park, some sort of hiking spot to get down here. But you could just see that's right down a cliff. It just doesn't make any sense. Now is the part where we get to downtown. So this is where I think that it's the downtown area. Let's add a bit more flair. Let's do something a little special. So we'll start here. We're going to go to here. And the terrain here is just kind of a mess. And that's going to be the theme in the downtown. I'll line it up right here with maybe this police station. I think we're going to have a lot of retaining walls, and this is likely going to get boosted up some, maybe. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. And then I'll just upgrade along here. So Anarchy on, just upgrade straight up through here. All of this residential is being just demolished. And then right here, we're going to change some things. And I think this is going to be the coolest part of downtown. I want to grab this and where we want to go here. And we are going to build this area up. So we'll start out. I'm going to grab my center and pull this back. We need to make sure that we're getting around this facility right here. And then here, I want this to feel a lot more gradual. So I'm going to really improve that radius and then pull this out. And maybe even line it up with this road right here. And the bridge will begin right here. So I'll hit enter there. Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. Now is the fun part. We're going to grab a bridge. And I think there's two that we could use. We've got this European stone bridge. So we've got that one, or we've got this American 6-lane stone. And I don't know. Why don't you guys leave a comment letting me know which one you would prefer to see? For the time being, I think I'm going to use the American 6-lane stone, but I'm not 100% sold on it. So there we go. We've got that. It's got this really cool red sidewalk along the side and these really beautiful spans. So I'm going to grab a key wall, just a basic key wall, and then we're going to use our parallel road tool. And I'm going to select from here back to here. Tab this over to the other end and hit minus to get this to be closer. And then I'm going to get really close with it. There we go. And what this has done for us is given us the ability to fix this parking lot. Look at this. Control H to this, Control H to this. And now we have this sloping retaining wall, fixes the heights there. And we can use our set slope tool to slope right down to here. So check this out. How cool is that? That is a signature piece for this community. Oh man, that turned out better than I thought it would. So I'm really excited about that. Oh, that just looks awesome. So you could experiment. You could use other retaining walls if you wanted to. I just like this here. And part of the reason I like that is we're going to do something else with the other retaining walls on this end in just a moment. So let's go ahead and grab in one of our content creator pack retaining walls. We're going to go with just something pretty basic, the simple key wall with the fence. We don't want fenceless. We don't want people diving off the side. Almost forgot, every single intersection must be selected. I'm going to tab this over. And I want to leave enough space to add in a bike facility along here. So this will be kind of a bike highway. I'm going to leave enough space that we can leave, kind of maybe grow a row of greenery in between. And if I have one regret, it is that I should have sloped this area out first. So we're going to have to do that. Wow, 10% grade. We've got to spread this out. So I'm going to Control H these key walls into one another because now I can slope between the two of them. And then I see some zoning occurring. I don't want anything like that there. So I wanted to place this. We're going to use move it to get it where we want it to be. And for whatever reason, it is deeply disturbed by what I just did. It's saying I won't go up or down. It is just going to, what am I selected? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Let's just delete that. Sometimes you know that you gotta start over. There we go. That is looking really slick. So here's where we add our bike facility, and it's going to be the exact same story. Can you imagine this facility? What a spectacular place to bike. Just absolutely outstanding. In terms of junctions, maybe I should be a little more judicious with these because I do want these to make some sense. So I want to go through and we'll turn our contours back on and eliminate some of these junctions. This one is the only one I know for sure I want to maintain. This is our road to get to the other side of the city, but we can get rid of half of these other ones, especially when they're just way too steep. And obviously there's a lot of slope issues through here. I don't want to get overly crazy about them because I'd basically demolish the entire city, which, you know, I could do, but maybe we won't. But I will do these couple of blocks. I want to add a retaining wall along this whole road. Maybe we even just put a fence. Maybe I'm okay with a fence. So I will select just a regular old park fence. And then again, parallel road tool. And I'm going to set this one. We're going to tab this over and I'll back it out just a little ways. And then we hit enter. And I'm going to do this every block by itself. And what this has done for us is just given us this little fence along here, which will block the zoning. And that is what I want to do. So we're going to go up and down and do this all the way along here. We'll get this thing moving again, and let's look at our zoning. It should all be gone along there. That is what we want to see. And I'm going to pause this for a moment. And since we're just wholesale ruining everything, we might as well just keep up the good work. And I'm going to smooth out some of this land through here. Like, that's a pretty extreme fall. So let's fix a bit of this. Yeah, that is wild. That would not work. Oh, and this is the slippery slope. That pun was totally not intended. But what I mean here is I'm going to go through and fix this. Now this whole block is garbage. And I just start demolishing a bunch of stuff. So that's the slippery slope. And then we feather this out to try to improve it somewhat. So I think you could make a good case to take the brush size down here. Oh boy, that terrain. And just kind of work your way along this. You could even use your slope terrain tool. Pick two intersections and then right mouse click at the top, left at the bottom, and slope up. And the benefit of that is that your buildings are just going to look a ton better. So I think we're going to do that. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. It looks acceptable, except for the sand. I realize that I don't actually have a mod that will allow me to place trees in a line outside of the intersection marking tool. This would be such a great facility, and I just really want there to be trees. So we could just go ahead in the intersection marking tool, grab this outside row. We're going to set this to be a tree, and we will go with, I kind of want to go with a big oak. And we'll increase our step to something reasonable. We'll say maybe like 30 because of how big these are. And then we will shift this. So we'll negatively shift this right to here. And then I want to add another one. We're going to do the exact same thing. So we will shift this to a tree. We will again make this our live oak. We will again make this 30. And then we will shift this even further than our last one. That is a thing of beauty. We hit enter for that. And now I want to copy this template for this segment of road. Control Shift G will apply this on that same segment. So select this, Control Shift G, apply it to the whole road. And look at that. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. So one thing you might have noticed is that the trees are popping in and out, and that looks pretty terrible. So there's a way to fix this, and it's going into intersection marking tool. And what we want to do is change our render distance. I want that to be significantly better. Let's go to maybe 5,000. I know my computer can handle that. And you can see immediately it changed it. And I wonder, go to 10? Yep, and I guess that's just the limit. It's some sort of limit. No matter what I do, it's just gonna pop in and out at that distance. But it still looks pretty good. I think eventually we're gonna want to get the prop line tool to do this right. But this will do for now. So now that we've got this, I think it's important that we get a rear road back here and reestablish some land uses. So for this, we're going to parallel road this. So again, into the unified UI, parallel road tool. We've got to make sure we select the correct road first. And then we're just going to follow this. So I'm going to hold down Shift And then when I hit plus, it'll go up 10 meters at a time. And I can see that 80 meters is about a block. So I will leave 80 meters and pull this all the way down. And I think with the exception of this little area right here, it looks like it's going to do a really good job creating a totally parallel road. And it takes a second. Don't freak out. It is not the right thing to do. Then we union these couple that are kind of messed up if we can. Yeah, that looks pretty bad. So there we go. A perfectly parallel road. Couple spots that we need to improve. It gave us a couple of extra roadway segments in a couple of areas. Not the end of the world. And with Anarchy on, you can force it to connect nicely. And then you could arrange at line mode to improve the angle through there so it makes more sense for this road. Obviously, you kind of expect to see some of that. There's a couple of spots, though, where we could go another block back. So I want to do that. And now I'm going to pull this back as far as I can. And it looks like that's right about here. So I'll enter there. And then right here, we're going to need to... Hold up. We've got the observatory right here facing towards a tower. What can you even see out of this thing? Oh, wow. We're going to need to fix that at some point. That's a very precise angle to get in between there. All right, we've got to union this right here. We've got this weird bridge thing happening too. I don't know why. I'm guessing there was a lot of traffic at some point coming from the space elevator. And this was the solution that I came up with. All right, we're just going to roll with it. Through here, I want to make a connection. I think we're going to add just a little road segment here. We'll turn all the snap twos back on. And then I'm curious, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but we're just going to select this small segment here and this here. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then I'm just going to add some blocks through here. And we're not going to connect all of them all the way through, but we will connect maybe every, 40, 50 units. And you might have noticed that some of these roads just don't have any sort of zoning along them. That happens with the Create Parallel Road tool. So you just have to go through with Anarchy on and just upgrade them. And you know what? I'm going back on it. I think we're just going to connect all the way through here. We'll set roadway priority and that'll be our saving grace, but it's 2 blocks. You lose a lot of connectivity if you don't make connections through. All right, and now the work of rotating all these buildings around. And truthfully, all of this zoning is really messing with me. So I'm just going to get rid of the zoning first. And then I want to smooth out some of this because you see that there are a couple spots where just lost the terrain a bit. So we'll improve that. And then I'm going to make one more connection down here. I think this slope could be doable. And I think the connectivity into this neighborhood is really important. So we'll maintain as much as we can. And that also changes where we put this. So good that we took a look at it right now. All right, now that we have all of this in place, I want to get some zoning here. And then I want to think about the bike network through this area because that's something that we still haven't done yet. So I'm going to add a district. Oh, there already is a district here. This is Elk Square, and boy, were my districts ugly. We're going to take Elk Square, clean it up, and then I want to have a height restriction there. So we'll have high density through this road right here. And then Pine Heights and Chester Park, they will have lower density. So now we've got to set our policy. So we will select Elk Square again. I think I have high-tech housing everywhere, which I don't love, but we're just going to deal with it. And then we will turn on our high-rise ban here so we can continue to extend out some of our higher density uses. And truthfully, I didn't go along here and fix the uses either. So while I'm thinking about it, let's just pause this for a moment, upgrade these roads so that we get the zoning back. And then we'll just come through and hit this with some high density residential. So I want to respond to the needs of the city right now. And what I see we need are offices and commercial. So I'm going to have a bunch of offices kind of near this, where I assume it's pretty loud. Yeah, it's super loud here. So we've got a bit of residential right near this. It doesn't really make any sense. So I'm going to eliminate that. And I'm thinking even right here, we'll have some offices. And that will give some separation between this, which is super loud, and our residential. I will continue our commercial down here and mix in some offices. And then we're going to go with some residential. And I'm just going to finish this thing off. We're going to transition to residential uses through here. And we'll have a couple of areas where we have some lower density commercial uses. So think your pizza shop, your barber, and then a couple of other little nodes of commercial activity. I'm curious. I don't know that I even want to see this, but I'm going to look at the water pipes to see where they are. Oh. That is a stream fix. I think we can answer some questions, and that's not a now thing. We'll do something with that later. All right. I'm going to just pretend I didn't see that. And let's add in some bike facilities. So the very first thing I want to do is enable the policy to encourage biking. And that's just to get people out of their cars and into their bikes. Onto their bikes, not into their bikes. And then I want to upgrade, and I want this to be very visible. So obviously you could do whatever you want for bike facilities. I'm going to go with these tree-lined median streets. So no parking. We've got these trees in the median. And that's really so I can see it. And I kind of regret using it. It's the same street here. But it'll make it easy for me to see where the bike network is. And we're basically going to parallel this road. So we've got this major arterial here, just parallel it. We're going to have another street coming right up here. I don't want to go on this collector through here. This is all of our capacity for our roadway network. So I'm going to come up the back end. And one thing you might have noticed from this view is that looks pretty jank. I'm going to node controller this, and I have set slope enabled as my default. So now I can just go through, select these, and then right mouse click out, and it fixes all of these to make them look nicer. So if this really bothers you like it bothers me, that is your fix. And you see it's pretty quick. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to just, or I should say it looks as good as it's going to be. So we're going to just leave it and step back. Now for the bike network, I'd love to be able to get this through over to this area. There's one significant problem, and that's right here. So I'm going to take this, and let's say we run this to right here, and then we go ahead and we upgrade to one of our 4-lane decorative tree bike lane roads, whatever they want to call it. And then we get to our tunnel, and then we go all the way through here. What you'll notice is that the bike lanes don't carry through in the tunnel. So pretty disappointing. So I guess it's something to keep in mind that no matter what you do, you just, unless you have a modded road, you're going to be stuck with this, just kind of ending right there. You could go ahead and have an off-street tunnel. It doesn't seem very plausible to me to do that, so I'm not going to do it. And truthfully, the whole area right here needs to be rethought out, but we'll leave it for now. And I just want to run this bike facility all the way to the other side of downtown, considering that's where we're going to go right now. And I know that we upgraded this to this nice stone bridge. I think the bike facility is more important, so we will change that back. And then I'm pulling this all the way through. At the very end, we're going to adjust the priority of all of these roads. And this one's a more important road. So I'm going to go with a 6-lane here because we're getting rid of our twiddle, which was very valuable in this area, probably less so over here. So we'll drop down again to 4 lanes. And then we'll continue with our 6-lane across. So we're going to have some work to do on this end to make this function appropriately. I'm going to continue with 6 lanes until we get to where I want our road coming from downtown to end. And I think that's going to be right about here. And then we'll swap over to our 4-lane. And now we want to get all the way over here. Remember, that's where our road ends. And then we've got this collector coming through here. We could back these buildings off enough to potentially have a 6-lane through here. Why don't you guys let me know in the comments if you want me to back these up and add this through? Otherwise, I'm inclined to leave it as a 4-lane. Now, one thing I see right off the bat is there's a lot of craziness right here. I don't know why I decided that this was a good idea. It was not. So we're going to get rid of all of that. And this, we can leave that. We'll end with the park there. There is a way to make this land usable, but that was not it. That was not it, sir. And now I want you to notice something. Look at, we're dipping down. So you got all these homes dropping way down. I'm going to grab our arrange at line mode. We'll select this node here and this one here. And that's going to follow the contours, I think, pretty well. Yeah, you can see the contours there. And then we'll set slopes 1.8%. That's pretty outstanding. And then it's considerably cleaner. So that is our first piece. But now we need to get way over here. So first of all, I'm going to upgrade that to right here. We'll figure out how to route through the downtown, probably in a future episode. I think the downtown likely deserves its own focus. And then again, we are going to create connection mode. We'll come to here. So go right in front of the arch. I want to turn the contours back on to see what would be the most plausible. It's really hard to tell, but I know that we got to keep it back a bit further. I'm almost inclined to bring it further beyond in the arch. And I kind of build it up right there. So we're going to get rid of a lot right here. I think that most of this is absolute garbage. So just being totally upfront, it's not good. We built down the hillside. It's real jank. It's terrible. So let's just go ahead and we'll call a mulligan on this. And I think you can see that this area had no business being developed. We could have a little neighborhood right here, but it should never have been to the extent that it was before. It should be really a pretty modest area. So that's what we're going to do over here is really modest this up. And then I want to connect this up to right about here. And again, this is another one of those situations where we got to respect our terrain. Okay, so now what I want to do is fix these slopes. They're still pretty crazy, so we're gonna slope this out. This is not the height of realism, but it will make me happy. So we'll just need to do a little bit of that. I'm gonna Control H this to here so that we can have a nice slope for the arch, and then we're gonna slope this way back to here and really smooth that out. Now we can feather this, and there's tornado cars all over the place. And now it's just selecting this, Control Hing this to where it should be. And we've got this crazy bunch of road stuff back here. We do need another road back here. That is undeniable. So we're going to try to salvage this as best we can. And here's where we disrespect the topography 25% at one point. It's pretty bad. And then we even arrange at line mode to clean some of this up. And then basically all of these buildings are junk now. They are at the wrong height. We're going to terrace this out, slope it a bit, and make it look more reasonable. And reasonably, I don't know that I would have developed this in this particular way if I were starting fresh. But because we're trying to make do with what we have, I'm gonna take some liberties in this one space. There we go. That's the rationale for all of that. Not great, but it's going to do the trick. We've at least got our statue looking good. We've got a bunch of crazy zoning through here that, again, we've got to get rid of. And then we've got to make a connection here. So there's a few things I want to accomplish that are going to be tricky. I think that the downtown needs some more direct highway access. We've got this. But think about how far away that is from the highway. That is quite the trek, basically as far as it could get. So what we're going to do is take this right here and modify it. And I'm not sure that this is going to be the most loved thing that I do today. I'm not sure that I'm going to love it, but we're going to do it anyway. And we're going to see how it goes. So I'm going to convert this to the American 6-lane. And then I'm going to immediately sever this and run this up as a bridge. And then basically, I want to get this to about here. I want it to come in at a 90. So we'll set that as a 90 and then we'll just connect this right across. So this is a lot of capacity, but I think it's going to be needed. So I'm going to turn this. Maybe we should adjust our heights first so we can tell what's going on. So back to here, we just slope it out. Oh, and our tornadoes. I love that. And then I will get the angle to be nice. So this is a bit of San Francisco stuff going on right here. And why is that pillar missing? There we go. So that looks good there. And on this side, it's acceptable-ish. I'm going to pull this back and then we will arrange at line mode to get this to look a little bit better. Yeah, that's pretty terrible. So that didn't quite work out. Okay, there we are. Very large bridge, kind of crazy. That said, I think that we need this bridge. So the reason why is we just got to be able to get to the downtown area. And then the other thing that we need in this area is a crazy way to get down here if we're going to maintain this, which truthfully in the downtown area, probably not bad to have cargo coming directly into this area. So we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to see what kind of heights we see with this. Nope. We'd have to switch back this to make it work. All right, I switched back this considerably and it's still incredibly steep. So it just kind of, again, goes to prove just how bad of a place this was for development before. We're going to leave this for the time being. I'm going to refrain from developing anything here. In fact, I'm going to just get rid of this. And instead, I'm going to turn off Anarchy and run a power line back here. And this will take us to one of the final places I want to go, which is up here. And there was so much terrain disrespect that I think we need to get rid of most of this. So bridges kind of going crazy, homes for no reason. And you can see that it kind of starts right at the very beginning. So that's the part that stinks. If you look at the contours here, you're going up 25 meters right here. Yeah, 24% grade. The only way to fix this is to kind of bring it all the way back to here. And look at that. We're not even, we'd have to go all the way back. We're just 20% everywhere. So I'm going to get rid of basically all of this. All right, that was a lot of work, but what I've done is removed basically all of the crazy hilltop stuff and then connected all of these wind turbines using power cables where I could. So we're now linked up throughout the entire community. Then I went through and I added some trees in grassy areas. This would be a temperate rainforest after all. So we should have trees all over the place and things are looking okay. The last thing we need to do is set priority to a bunch of these roads. And obviously, you know, our bike network could be a little bit better. We're going to continue iterating on that. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. There are lots of things that I want to fix, but it's just going to take some time. But this is one that we should do now, and that is just going around to all of the new roads that we created. First of all, make sure we got zoning. We're good there. Go around to all these roads and set priority. So it's going into TMPE, selecting this, and then we're going to set yield signs at all of our side streets. And then we need to make sure that we're not creating issues on places like our highway. Like right here, we've added a yield sign. I don't know that we need that. So then I want to look right here, and it looks like this is doing okay. There's no signal. So that's kind of funny. I was assuming that we would need a ton of capacity here. We have a yield sign in this road and it's doing just fine. So I think we'll just leave it. And then this is an important one right here. You can see this is where it kind of breaks down. So we've got signals at every single junction, except for the one where it's probably actually needed. So this is why it's always good to go back and check. That'll give us yields all the way through, all the way to here. And I'm going to signalize this time traffic signal control click. I could set this up 90% of the time. It's just fine. So we're going to leave it. Same thing here. And truthfully, we need to sever a bunch of connectivity through here. But I think that this is another thing in and of itself that we're going to have to deal with as well. So I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. We will signalize that one. And then I want to look at these yield signs. That's good. And a signal right there. And then the other major road that we adjusted is this one. And again, look at that. There we are again with all of the signals. And it can be kind of hard to see these. I'm going to go into TMPE and show you one thing that I kind of like. So we'll go into our overlays, priority. Let's do our speed limits, vehicle restrictions, parking, junction restrictions, lane connectors. Nodes and segments is irritating. We're not going to do that. And what this is going to do for us as we go into TMPE, this gives us a lot of information. You can see where we've adjusted things, and it's a good keep me honest sort of thing too, because then if I were to go ahead and add a bunch of crazy stuff, I'd be able to see it. Or if I added a bunch of crazy stuff back in the day, I'd be able to see it. So look at that. That bridge cleared up with our interchange, so that's good. And it looks like this is functioning quite a bit better as well. So all improvements, all improvements. This is the other road that we put together, Price Street. Again, yield signs. This goes all the way back to the roundabout. So I want to make sure we didn't break our roundabout. It looks like it's still okay. I guess it was a little bit broken. We had a yield sign on the roundabout, so we have fixed that. And then this goes all the way back here. Price Street goes to this junction, and that needs to be a signal. So control click there for our timed signal. That's some improvement. That is some improvement. I think that we've made some good progress. I don't think that we have really helped our city's traffic flow. 70. So we've actually dropped it quite a bit. 69. It'd be nice, but not good. So what I'm going to do is let this run for a moment, because I know that things need to normalize a bit. I've made a lot of changes. I was paused for a long time, and I've been on a low simulation speed. So we're going to let this go for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, see where our population rebounds to, and see where our average traffic flow goes. All right, and I've let it run for a few minutes, and we are currently at 81% traffic flow, which kind of surprises me. I didn't think that we would get quite that high, but whoops, I'm not gonna get mad about it. One thing I do want to do is connect up these couple of things that don't have power. There we go. And I think that this is the perfect time to take inventory of what we've done and have a brief city tour. Wow, we have made some significant changes in this episode. I think most of them are for the better. I think that some of them are debatable, and I think that I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say about this one, especially getting rid of all the buildings up here. But I do think it was for the best. I do think it was necessary, and I do think that the city is progressing in a great direction. things are just looking good. They are logical and they make a ton more sense. I am very curious though. Are you guys in favor of this bridge? Should we have gotten rid of it? I don't know what you guys think. To me, it's one of the reasons why the traffic flow is as good as it is. We needed this artery into downtown and we got it. We have got it. And I'm amazed that we got the traffic flow that we got with this monstrosity. I was 95% sure that this was going to have to go. And apparently we are okay. So I'm going to leave it here before I break anything. I hope that you've enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit the like button. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And I really cannot wait to see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me, for hanging out. It's really a privilege to bring these videos to you. Take care. Bye-bye.